Hi guys, today I'm gonna talk about the novel by Sally Rooney called Normal People. As a few people may be aware, it was made into a pretty successful television series that came out during all this pandemic nonsense, and I believe it was quite a big hit. Whether because more eyeballs were on it because everyone was at home, or the fact that it was a really great series, I don't know because I haven't actually watched it yet. But it intrigued me enough for me to track down the book it was based on. Usually, when I get the chance, I like to read the source material first if I can, or if it's not too onerous. Sally Rooney is an Irish author, I think based in the west of Ireland, but knew Dublin quite well. And because I'd been living in Dublin for the last few years before coming back to Melbourne, her name had been thrown around a lot. Her first novel, Conversations with Friends, was talked about a lot in different book groups I was in or at work, and Normal People was also talked about quite often as well. And there was some level of excitement around the idea of it being turned into a one-off series. The story and the characters takes place starting in the west of Ireland, which is a rural part of Ireland, between these two high school seniors, Connell and Marianne. Marianne's a little bit keeps to herself, maybe. It doesn't have many or really any friends. Or Connell is a popular jock, plays in the rugby team, this kind of stuff. But I wouldn't say jock in the traditional sense of like maybe what the American term would imply. He's just kind of popular and well known, I guess, compared to Marianne, who's very smart and clever, but almost seems to make an effort towards not being liked, and then people misunderstand her as well and throw those two things together, and I guess she kind of feels like she doesn't know anything to the world, and you find out there's reasons for that as well in terms of her background and family life. And Connell himself has challenges in that department as well in terms of family life. He comes from a single parent household, doesn't know who his father is, and that's looked down upon, I guess, in certain circles in the town. But he's also turned out quite well compared to what people have thought as well. And the way they know each other than going to school, Connell and Marianne, is that Connell's mum works as a cleaner in Marianne's big mansion of a house. And basically in high school they start this kind of secret love affair because Connell doesn't want anyone knowing about them and blah 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 blah. All the kind of stuff that can seem that is really bad if you're the one on the other end of that as well. But it continues their story on from high school to them going to college, and they're still in college by the end of the novel, but it basically follows in alternating chapters from different points of view of Connell and Marianne, not necessarily in first person, but from their points of view, detailing their lives. And also it's interesting because you can read one chapter and their reaction to what one or the other has done to them is kind of almost explained when you see the other's perspective, and you can kind of makes you realize that sometimes these things that happen, mistakes between people, or if people have fights and that kind of stuff, sometimes it can be over like a very small thing that you don't really even realize is a big deal until after it's all blown up. And I think Sally Rooney is very good at doing that kind of detailing when it comes to how little things can affect a person, or even big things as well, obviously. But into those little, almost micro exchanges, social exchanges we have with one another, something that you thought about, or something that someone thought about, can become a big, huge issue. And if no one talks about it, or they misunderstand it, it can just become something that's a lot bigger than what it should be, perhaps. But that's just kind of almost like looking at growing up as well. I mean, these characters are from about 17, 18 to maybe about 21-ish. And that is a big learning curve, especially in the world of modern adolescence in most, I imagine, a lot of first world countries, but other countries as well, where you're leaving home for the first time, going to college and living on your own and don't have that traditional support and trying to finding yourself. Like, things get flipped when they start going to uni in Dublin, where Marianne is suddenly the cool one and the knowledgeable one, the one that everyone wants to be around, while Connell is the quiet loner who doesn't know how to fit in. Very different from their high school experience. I also used to live in Dublin as well, in Ireland, as I've mentioned, and reading the novel was really great because a lot of the places mentioned or aspects or language even that they used in it really reminded me of this place that I'd lived for a few years, and then it was just really nice to kind of see that and be in touch with that as well. I can't recommend it enough. I think it really delves you into this love affair between these characters, almost as if you're there with them, like a bystander or a friend in their group that are, witnessing this dance between these two friends that you know, and you feel like you really want them to succeed, or really want to see them figure it out and everything like that. And I think that's a true compliment to a novel, that it can make you feel that way and make you see things in that lens, in that spectrum. And I'm really interested now in finding her first book, Conversations with Friends, and reading that. I think it will be interesting to see where she goes in the future as well. She's quite a young Sally Rooney, I think only in her late 20s or maybe early 30s now, but definitely in her 20s when she wrote this. And it's so acute, and the observations are so keen and interesting on young people today, or maybe not today, but young people at that time around the financial crash and stuff, which is the kind of time frame of when the novel takes place. And really good look at what goes into the hearts and minds of characters that are experiencing really a great love for the first time, and all the complications and trials and joys that can come with that. So look, I'm probably going to check out the series as well. I'll find it where it's streaming on Australia and track it down, because I think that will be great as a companion piece to it, especially from all the good things I've heard as well. But yeah, look, if you've read Normal People, let me know what you think, guys. And if you've seen the TV show, I'd love to hear how you felt it went from book to screen, because I'm going to be finding out myself soon as well. So any comments on that, be happy to know. But until next time, guys, take it easy.